Boredom is your greatest tool for accessing happiness. Sounds strange to say, but if I'm sitting on a park bench, I will get more value from staring aimlessly and admiring the woods than I would if I pulled out my phone to watch 10 seconds of something meaningless and forget it 5 seconds later. When we think of boredom, we might think of having nothing to do with our weekend, waiting on someone to show up, wasted time.
I'm bored.
Feeling dissatisfied with what's around us. We don't really think of work when we think of boredom, and we certainly don't think of happiness. They seem like opposing ideas in our heads. They aren't. Boredom and productivity can be seen as states of mind. Boredom as a state of inactivity and lack of engagement, and productivity as the opposite. Boredom is something that most people say they feel regularly, but ironically, they don't fully immerse themselves inside that boredom, that moment of pondering. A voyage into reflection is interrupted by mindless consumption. Staring at your phone when you're bored is still boring, but it's not a full boredom. You're actually robbing yourself of the benefits of true boredom. As author Daniel J. Levitin of The Organized Mind puts it, as we live in an environment of ever-increasing input, the need to switch off and do nothing may be more important to our long-term success than it ever has been. You need boredom to become great at anything. You need peaceful presence in this world we live in today. With constant stimulation, we actually don't allow ourselves to get into flow state, to get our best ideas out, or even be with whatever we have in front of us. This is what I want to talk to you about in today's video. A way to engage with the world that incorporates boredom, not neglects it. A way for us to use this tool that we all avoid to work in a way that will outcompete the best the world has to offer. A way for you to outwork everyone. There are 3 main principles for this. Principle number 1, boredom is not actually boredom. Boredom is actually happiness. There are tons of studies out there where participants chose to electrocute themselves than be bored, literally inflicting pain on themselves rather than just sitting there with nothing to do. This last week, I gave myself the challenge of allowing more boredom into my life. I gave myself numerous rules. I put my phone on grayscale and genuinely stared out into space in the in-between moments of life. I gave myself the choice to do nothing, basically sit still or initiate what I should be working on. No other options, no music, no distractions. What I found was that boredom created more excitement in my life because it forced a powerful presence in me. Boredom has a way of turning your focus into a laser beam of productivity. Think about it, the constant ping of messages and notifications, it's not happiness. They're annoyances tying us to screens and pulling us away from truly living. It actually really pisses me off. Now think of social media as a video game. Waiting for a like or a comment, it's like being a character and waiting on someone else to make a move. But boredom, it's kind of a secret weapon. It's the key to unlocking both productivity and genuine happiness. That feeling of accomplishment after a productive day, boredom has a hand in it. Boredom is your key to a happier, more fulfilling life. It's the catalyst that turns mundane moments into progress. And progress equals pure happiness. Just imagine creating a better life by embracing boredom. It's a key strategy that most people miss out on. Embrace it. Principle number 2, craft a dynamic schedule protocol, one that mimics reality, not delusion. Calendars aren't just meant for meetings and appointments. You have to mirror real life scenarios. If you looked at your phone for 8 hours yesterday, you can't expect to not look at your phone today. It's just not realistic. And let's be real, scheduling time for Netflix or social media doesn't come naturally. Intentionally setting aside time for these activities leads to a better life. It makes you less likely to binge content. And now, setting aside time to be bored can be even more powerful to drive your productivity forward. Board time and screen time are not the same. A study from the American Psychological Association showed that using a schedule for social media and TV time led to less screen time, increased productivity, and better sleep patterns. Actually, it's pretty terrifying that researchers are finding a direct correlation between your screen time and your happiness, your well-being, and your sleep patterns. Literally 3 of the most important things in your life. Using a structured calendar will allow you to pull in the range slowly on your screen time to create your ideal day. You can't do this too quickly. What worked for me is trying to beat what I did yesterday. No more, no less. And if you get 1% better daily over a year, you will be 37.78 times better this time next year. Schedule your day, you will become a master. Principle number 3, Master your mind through intentional training. I knew this guy from college who was always looking at his phone, couldn't handle his emotions, needed nicotine, and couldn't sleep. He was miserable but pleasantly distracted, as I like to say. He could not sit still to save his life. In this state of constant emotion and stimulation seeking, it seemed super draining. He had to have something in front of him to pull himself out of his mind at all times. Something to get wrapped in so he wouldn't think and see his own thoughts. He was miserable. There's a different path, however, and my life coach talks about it. He calls this inner work. First, embrace brain dumping, a strategy where you write down your inner thoughts. This simple act helps clear mental clutter and aligns your goals with your ideal future. I take 10 minutes a day to sit and spew my thoughts onto paper, and it's been really powerful to look back on. I really saw huge improvements in my self-talk over the years because you physically see your words on paper, and my mind has become much clearer. Next, consider meditation. Don't think of meditation as something reserved only for monks. It's your tool to actually distance yourself from that inner dialogue and constant chatter running through our heads. I start my day with a 15-minute meditation to get my mind right and to distance myself from that dialogue. As Marcus Aurelius says, the happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. These are the tools you will use to integrate boredom into your life. By the way, in the United States alone, digital advertising spending was projected to reach $160 billion by 2021 to get your attention. You are literally fighting against $160 billion. Mind dumping and meditation are your sword and shield against distractions. This is how you become peacefully potent when interacting with the world. You almost exude this aura that comes from inside you, not seeking anything outside yourself, but you're perfectly content just the way you are because you've done this inner work. Boredom can be a powerful tool if used correctly, but like any tool, you need the right approach. You have to reframe boredom as a path towards happiness, then implement a dynamic schedule protocol, and then intentionally train your mind. You find that life gets more full and work actually gets more fun. Simply by implementing these principles over the last week, I went from a 2 out of 10 to an 8 out of 10 on boredom. It has felt incredible. You find yourself more energized and full of life when you implement boredom into your life. Boredom is not a void to be filled, but a space to create. And I hope you can find boredom as a tool for yourself. Anyways, let's use boredom to recharge ourselves, to want to work towards our dreams, to become the people we admire, to outwork everyone by being bored.